Hello everybody, I'm glad you're here today. Today is September 20th, 2024. In this video, I'm going to bring you a word I wrote down this morning while I was worshiping. It is what it is as usual, and you have to square it with God however you need to do it. So you pray about it and work through it in the Holy Spirit. I want to read out of the Bible. Lord willing, we're going to have time. And y'all, I've got treasures to show you. I have treasures. They are treasures to show you and read to you this thing. All right. So here's the skinny. I never say that. Do y'all ever hear that? Here's the skinny. Like here's the lowdown. I don't know. Well, anyway, here's what's going on. It feels like, and I think it in fact truly is, the world is escalating in tension once again, like another birth pain coming on. I don't know, labor pain, whatever you want to call it. I think that's what's happening. The Middle East seems to be heating up once again. The price of gold is baffling. I don't follow that kind of stuff too much at all. I watch silver and gold just as indicators, and wow, the prices keep going up. The spot prices, like this morning I was looking and it was 2,640, was that it? I can't remember. It was high. All right. I remember hearing one time, probably about a year and a half ago or so, maybe it was from Peter Schiff, he is a big gold guy. He was talking like, I don't even remember if it was him or not, but the idea that if gold goes over $2,500, maybe it was Canadian Prepper, if gold goes over $2,500, then the whole world is going to be chaotic and cataclysmic at that point. Well, y'all, we're over $2,500 on gold, and we're all still rolling. So I mean, it is getting worse. So we went out last night, Mike and I, for our 38th wedding anniversary. The kids decided not to join because they were too tired from working. I'm like, oh yeah, how's it feel, baby? So anyway, I know that's not a nice mama thing, but they were like, man, we've been working all day. We just want to stay home. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. So anyway, Mike and I were talking about traveling. He was like, where would you want? 2 more years, it'll be our 40th. Would you want to travel anywhere? And I said, I don't know. I said, would you want to travel anywhere? And he said, well, if it's like this, no. I said, yeah, I don't want to travel anywhere. I mean, you're going to get shot at, you're going to get chemicals sprayed in your eyes till you're blind, or you're going to get who knows what. So we're staying home. And what we have done is created a property, a house, a home, intentionally, that creates wonderful staycations. So we do a lot of staycationing when Mike gets time off, and we are delighted in that way of life for now. We're good with that. Y'all, I've gone enough. I've made enough trips to the emergency room, with your parents or with your kids. You're like, hey, I just love staying home. So anyway, now then, let me tell you the story. Oh my word, I can't wait to show this to you. And there's more. And there's more coming. Okay, this I want to show to you last because it's the grand finale. Not really, but today it is. All right, so I don't know. Actually, my dad got me onto this, wanted me to look through some old stuff, okay? So I have had a box. I've actually had more boxes than just one, but I don't know what happened to the other boxes. I have a box of old pictures from Mike's family, my husband's family. Now, the difference between his family, like a couple of generations, okay, we're talking his grandparents, great-grandparents, great aunt and uncles. They are far more educated and refined than my family. My family was life on the farm, kind of laid back. Like we've got the Dust Bowl pictures, and my family is like poor as dirt and standing barely with any, your earthly possessions in 2 hands on a porch while the dust is blowing. That's my family, But his family apparently have storefronts they're standing in front of, and they're well dressed. They have pianos and instruments, and I think my my family has pianos. That was a big thing. But for sure, much better, well-dressed, less agricultural. So just to look at those pictures, I'm like, wow, these people, I guess it's nice to, I don't know. Is it nice to be married into that? I have no idea. Anyway, so as I'm looking through this box, I'm going to share with you more pictures, all right, in coming videos. You're going to love it, because I found one. I was like, holy cow, who is this? I mean, there was like a movie star, like a Hollywood picture. I'm like, I don't know who this is. I texted it to my mother-in-law. I'm like, who is this? And I haven't heard back from her yet. I found this. This is an old report card from 1942. 1942. And this is my mother-in-law's, Cora Leslie. Her maiden name was Leech. And she went to Abilene Christian College, the elementary division. So that's where she went to elementary school. And she made excellent grades, no surprise there. And had wonderful attendance, no surprise there. Her father was actually a professor at the university there for years. He he had his doctorate in psychology. He was a psychiatrist, was he a psychiatrist? He had his doctorate in psychology. I don't know if he was a psychiatrist or not. In fact, the interesting thing about that story, side story here, is that my dad went to his classes, because my dad went to ACC. It was ACC back then in Abilene. Now it's ACU. My dad attended my husband's grandfather's classes, psychology classes at ACC. And I grew up hearing about how wonderful those classes were, because Mike's grandfather would actually hypnotize people in class. And they would do things, and it was fascinating. And so I grew up hearing stories about my dad's psychology teacher at ACU, not knowing that he was going to be my grandfather-in-law one day. So that's kind of fun. So there you go, a little family history. All right, so another thing I found, speaking of this particular, my husband's grandfather that taught psychology, he also, I found a diary of his from 1928. From 1928, I opened it up, and the first words here are, please keep your nose out of this. This is what it was. Anyway, throughout this diary, he clearly, and he wrote, like, this is the writing on it. He was clearly madly in love with his wife, who he had not married yet. And so apparently it starts out, I read the first few pages, he ain't dating nobody. He's like, there ain't nobody on my radar. And apparently, as he goes through it, and I haven't read it all yet, he meets her, falls in love with her, and decides he wants to marry her, God willing. They were both believers in Jesus Christ. And so this is what I found. I read some of it. I want to read more of it. But very cool. I love finding diaries. It makes me nervous about people going to be finding my journals one of these days when I'm dead and gone. But one of the most interesting things I found, and in light of where we are right now in the world, on the cusp of war, or maybe we've already started. I tend to think when we look back at these days, we're going to say it had already started by now. But I found this envelope. There are no markings on it whatsoever. It was just an envelope, and I thought, well, what is this? I thought I was going to open it up and find pictures, but no. I found a newspaper clipping. And this is, like, I took it out, and I read, missing boys, copies of post going to pals. And I thought, missing boys? What? What? There was I thought kidnapping or something like that. That is a continued, and there were 2 copies, so I want to be real careful with these so I don't break them or tear them. So I open this up, and this is the picture I see. Hang on, let me So it goes like this. This is what I saw. Is this young man, a picture of this young man, and this article clipped out, very nice and neat, folded, cared for. So I thought, well, what does this say? And this man is so handsome. Look how handsome he is, y'all. Look how jaunty he is in his hat, in his uniform. Well, apparently this is my husband's great uncle, Lieutenant John R. Leech. And I've never heard of this man. I never, which that doesn't mean anything. There are a lot of things I haven't heard about their family, but I had never heard about this man. And so I began to read this comment. It says, missing Colorado Flyers, Denver Post will go to Buddies. Now, as I read this, legit, this newspaper nearly exploits this man's passing to sell newspapers. Okay, y'all see what you think. But, we're going to overlook that. So it begins with this. I'm going to read it to you. Second Lieutenant John R. Leech, 26, of Idaho Springs and Fort Collins, Colorado, co-pilot of the Flying Fortress, is missing in action over Europe, but will be remembered to his squadron mates through the gift by his parents of their son's subscription to the Denver Post. Lieutenant Leech's father, J.R. Leech, Idaho Springs businessman, requested the Post Saturday to continue his son's subscription, but to address it to the, hang on, I can't see that, to the men of the Flyers unit in England. I know they will appreciate it as much as John did, he said. The Flyers' father and mother started the subscription at the officer's request when he went overseas 6 weeks ago. 6 weeks, and then he was dead. The Post has been read years by the Leeches. It was one continuing connection with home and one bit of home that he could take with him. The Denver Post has been familiar to the Leeches household for many years. Now that he is no longer at his station, we would like to keep up the subscription as our link with the area in which he served, and want his friends to continue to receive the papers his parents felt. Lieutenant Leech, a native of Childress, Texas, was graduated from the high school there and from the Colorado State College at Fort Collins. The day before he became missing in action, while on his second mission, he addressed a letter to his wife, Mrs. Catherine Leech of Fort Collins, saying, "We've a big job ahead of us tomorrow." Shortly after being graduated at Fort Collins, he entered the Army and received his wings and commissions at Randolph Field, Texas. He has 3 brothers, and it lists who they are, which one of them is Mike's grandfather. And it talks about Abilene Christian College, and a brother, David Leech, now in infantry training in Missouri, and one sister, Doris, in Idaho Springs. And Doris was special needs, and so she was actually a twin. Anyway, I won't go into all of Doris's story, but missing boy, copies of Post going to pals is what. So a tribute to this man right here, 26, married to Catherine, second mission, missing in action. How can this be? War, stop it. Okay, so I'm going to stop right there before I become a blubbering, like start crying all over the place. But, you know, somebody at one time um, treasured this, not knowing that years later in 2024, me, a homemaker in the panhandle of Texas, would see this envelope and open it and read about their son. How this is the circle of life, y'all. The circle of life. Mind blowing. So that is a reminder of the realness of war. And I fear, not in an ungodly way, I have trepidation that is what is on our doorstep. So, let me go ahead and read to you from my journal. Actually, we're going to start in Revelation. Let me read. It's not long in Revelation. And I know we go to this passage a lot, but there was something in it that stuck out. The Holy Spirit said, notice this morning. So it's Revelation 3. We're going to start with verse 15. I know all the things you do, that you are neither hot nor cold. I wish that you were one or the other. But since you are like lukewarm water, neither hot nor cold, I will spit you out of my mouth. You say, I am rich. I have everything I want. I don't need a thing. And you don't realize that you are wretched and miserable and poor and blind and naked. So I advise you to buy gold from me, gold that has been purified by fire. Then you will be rich. Also buy white garments from me, so you will not be ashamed by your nakedness, and ointment for your eyes, so you will be able to see. I correct and discipline everyone I love, so be diligent and turn from your indifference. Okay, I'm going to stop right there. That was the verse that's popped out. That was the sentence. Turn from your indiligence. I'm sorry. I did not read that right. Turn from your indifference. Your indifference. Turn away from that. We always concentrate on the lukewarm, hot or cold part of that passage. Never have I thought about the indifference. Stop it. Once again, stop it. Sometimes that is the best thing you can say to people. But it doesn't really do a lot of good when you talk like that. That's not wise. You have to help them sometimes to stop it. That takes a lot of patience. So let me read to you what I wrote this morning. September 20th, 2024. Who among my followers are desperate for my presence? Turn and look into your own hearts. Ask me, am I desperate, O God, for your life preserver? Throw me a lifeline. I am drowning. I am who will keep your head above water as all navigate the currents, the waves of life. I was writing so fast. I am he who will keep your head above water as all navigate the currents, the waves of life. Reach for me in desperation. Hold on to me, saying, all is lost without you. I am dead without your breath of life. For when there is desperation for me, there is no room for indifference in your hearts. I am not an option. I am not a scheduled weekly event. I am not meetings. I am not business, nor classrooms, nor buildings, nor statues, nor candles. I am not a social club. I am what keeps the enemy from killing you, torturing you with fire throughout eternity. Love is the driving force behind the slaughtering of the cross. My remnant, guard against indifference. The hour mankind finds himself in cannot be endured without complete devotion to me, for I am the life. Be honest as heart examinations take place. I will remove the indifference, replacing it with love and complete devotion. A nation of great wealth can produce a people of great indifference towards me. Examine your hearts, cling desperately to me, for the hour of trial is near. And that was it. Once again, another very serious word. So the tone is very different now than it was a couple of weeks ago. So that I think that is the hour we find ourselves in right now. And when I read the reality of that hour, it's not something on a movie screen. It's not something on the pages of a book. It's a person. It's people who go up on missions and may not ever return 6 weeks after they're called up, or 6 weeks after they get deployed. And I will say this, many of you have already started to give me intel. You've started emailing me, GinaLimaCharlie@gmail.com. I'm sorting through all of that right now and trying to process it. If you have any intel, what is flying over your house? What are you seeing on the highways? What are you hearing from family that are military? Tell us so we can connect, because our media doesn't do that. I don't know. I think it's the best we can do right now until this all goes away. And maybe it won't go away. Maybe we'll be able to do this for a long time. I hope so. And it might go away in an hour. Everything may change in an hour. Have we not seen a summer that has been like that? In 1 hour, there was an assassination attempt and the whole world shifted. In 1 hour, there were other assassinations in that week. Do you not remember that were overseas? There are long-range missiles being approved to go deep into Russia. China seems to be about ready to do something with Taiwan. Yeah, we've heard that before. I don't know if it's going to happen. It feels like we're teetering, all the while revving up with the chatter, the circus of the election going on behind the scenes. So, as we move forward, do not be indifferent. Cling to Jesus, all in. Get off the fence. Jesus is the answer to everything that we question. I'll leave that with you. Stay safe, America. This is Gina Lima Charlie. I'm out.